Welcome to the updated beginner's guide for Ashes of Creation's early access. This video is perfect for those of you who are brand new to Ashes of Creation or if you're jumping back in after taking a bit of a break. I'm going to be highlighting everything that's brand new in early access for Ashes of Creation and highlight a handful of just beginner tips and tricks to make sure that you are aware of how to progress your character as quickly as possible and that you don't make any high-level mistakes early on. The tips and tricks I'm going to be highlighting in this video are really going to be essential for progressing your character up to level 10 in this game. Once you hit level 10, you have a pretty good understanding of what you have to do to continue to progress your character. And again, as of right now, the current level cap is 25. So keep that in mind as well, that this is just half the battle, and honestly this is the easier half that we will have to do when it comes to grinding in the long term of Ashes of Creation. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and start jumping into some of these beginner tips. First things first, once you actually jump in and start creating your character, there are two very important things you have to pay attention to. First things first is the Archetype. This is your primary class and you will never be able to change this again. At level 25, you will eventually be able to choose a secondary archetype which will then make your class. So essentially there's 64 different combinations when it comes to your overall class. You can mix and match your secondary class at level 25 eventually, but your primary archetype cannot change. So be sure you choose the right one here because this is going to be set for your character forever. Secondary classes are not yet in early access, but it will be in 2026, so stay tuned for some more updates there. Currently, your race does not have any direct impact other than just physical appearance, but down the road there may be unique passives or other kind of unique identifiers associated with each. But for now, you don't have to worry about race other than choosing the one that you think looks the best. And then lastly, there are two different starting regions that you can select from for the early access. This is called the Riverlands, and then this is called the Anvils. Between the two, it seems like the Riverlands still has the most in-depth questing loop when it comes to the intro levels. However, both are honestly in a very good place now, but in my recommendation, I think the Riverlands is probably the safer area, especially for beginners. I do think the Anvils has a lot of potential. However, it even calls it out, it's still a work in progress, and if you don't already have an 8-man group, it could be a bit difficult. When you spawn in for the very first time, regardless of which starting zone you choose, the very first thing you're going to want to do is first of all accept a certain quest, which is indicated by these icons on the map. If you click M, you're going to see all of these different type of notifications in regards to where you can either accept new quests or complete quests and turn them in for the reward. So for example, let's talk to this guy and we are going to accept this quest. And then what you're going to be able to do is find a handful of just random weapons scattered in this starting area. So you can pick up and choose whichever item you want. Click I to open your inventory and then right click on things to actually equip them. So again, you can kind of pick and choose whatever you really prefer. The very first quest that you actually pick up is asking you to kill 5 different goblins as you make your way to the next area. So again, I recommend that you kill these 5 goblins and then start looking for these icons on the world map because there are enough quests to honestly solo level upwards to like level 6 or 7 in this region. So make sure you take advantage of these quests because the amount of experience and beginner items you get are honestly pretty insane. You can continue to doing these quests for quite a while, and it's honestly even a bit faster than being in a group, which is the only situation, honestly, where solo leveling is a little bit faster. The other thing is that you actually start with a full set of beginner tools. A lot of people don't realize this, but in early access you have a full set so you can start gathering right away. This is important because you not only get raw materials, but you can also get character experience and experience towards that specific profession. So for example, let's say I want to cut down this tree here. If I click P, I can see all of my different professions. Once I cut down this tree, I'll gain some character experience as well as some progression to level up my lumberjacking. Once I hit level 10 in a specific artisan skill, I can then go ahead and upgrade it to the next tier, allowing me to eventually get a higher quality axe, which will then allow me to cut down more rare trees. The higher the quality of the goods that you actually gather means that the amount of experience, both character experience and the experience towards that profession, will increase. So again, you always want to go for higher quality materials, but you don't really know what you're going to get until you actually finish gathering. So again, there is some luck involved and it is a bit of a grind. Finally, I do want to call out the importance of a new system known as the Destiny system. If you click L, you're going to open this new menu, and this is a huge game changer, and it's super helpful for beginners. This is going to showcase a handful of mini quests where if you complete the quest, you can basically accept the reward instantly just through this menu and eventually unlock different tiers of larger rewards. Some of these are honestly pretty insane because if you complete all of the ones from the Novice Combat Destiny track, you can get your hands on a brand new weapon and armor, which is a game changer. Quick friendly reminder, if you find this video helpful or you learn something new, consider hitting that like, share, and even subscribe for some more Ashes content down the road. Okay, let's jump back into it. Another very important call out is that dying in this game has major consequences. If you die, you will pick up XP debt, which you will eventually have to rework to regain that XP before you can start gaining more experience. It's not major XP, but I mean, if you keep dying over and over, it's just going to make your overall progression a lot slower. So again, try not to die as much as possible. Plus, you will lose 50% of your materials inventory if you die. You can pick up half of that 50% if you go back to your ashes and pick it up. So be sure to play smart, or make sure you understand your overall skills and abilities, because making sure that you utilize them correctly can lead to less deaths, honestly. For example, this ability here allows me to trip certain enemies if they are staggered. If I'm in a group and I know that they are inflicting stagger on the enemy, I can make sure that I use a trip ability right before that yellow bar kind of fills all the way up, indicating a special attack from the enemy. This will not only help me survive, but also my team members, and it's a win-win situation. Again, every single archetype in this game has unique skills that actually work together. Some of these abilities actually allow me to stagger the enemy myself, where I can then use that whale up ability to trip them and then go into maim, which deals more damage to enemies that have recently been tripped. So as you can tell, all of these abilities work together not only within specific archetypes, but also with other group members. If you click K, you can read more in depth about every single skill that is included within your kind of overall skill layout for your archetype. Additionally, a quick call out, when it comes to leveling in general, it is much faster if you have a full team of 8 compared to just playing solo. Yes, questing is nice for the first 6 or 7 levels, but after that, it turns into a very intense mob grind. And speaking of just grinding mobs in general, there's a typical currency when it comes to just like gold in this game. You've got gold, silver, and copper, but those currencies will not drop when you kill mobs. Instead, you get items known as Glint, which can be sold for a decent amount of currency from any NPC in the game, or you can hang on to it and basically exchange it for certain materials to use for caravans, which will turn into even more gold. So again, Glint is basically your avenue to getting more gold, like that currency you see in the bottom right of my inventory. You can also condense this into higher quality Glint over time once you get a stack of 10 just by right-clicking it. And you have to remember, Glint in this game is considered a material, which means if you die, you will drop half of your glint. So it's a best practice to make sure you stop at the storage and store any important materials as well as glint once you actually stock up on a lot of it. This is just playing it safe, and let's face it, things happen in this game and you will be dying whether you like it or not. It's just part of the grind. So just play it safe if you have a little bit too much materials in your pocket, and stop by a settlement and store your goods. Earlier in this video, we spoke about how easy it is to get some character experience just from gathering, and I did want to include a quick call out too, that you can get even more character XP that can help you level, especially early on, if you take all of these raw resources, go to a settlement, and then actually process all of it. Any required materials you need to pair with these raw materials to process them can be purchased right in the settlement from an NPC, so keep that in mind. Plus, you might as well do it if they're just sitting there anyways and get some easy XP. Next up, I did want to have a call out for this amazing resource known as Ash's Codex. This is basically everything you need in one spot. You can search for a specific item, like let's say for example, I'm looking for the hawk bow. It'll tell me the stats for each quality right here. So it'll range and increase or decrease based on the actual quality. It can give me the crafting recipe, what I actually need to hit in regards to hitting like this quality of a craft as well, and it even tells me what type of mob and where they are for me to actually obtain that item. So you can do that across the board. There's a lot of other resources here too, and like build recommendations, some guides, some video guides, and a little bit of everything honestly. So I do recommend you guys checking it out, especially on like your side monitor if you're playing, because it can honestly make or break certain situations and also help you decide whether or not certain areas are worth grinding, simply by looking up that specific enemy mob and seeing the loot tables and things like that. So be sure to be on the lookout and utilize this tool as much as possible because it is here for you guys. And that covers it. If you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments below, or if you have any other questions, also let me know and I'll be happy to answer. It's honestly impossible to kind of cover all of the different systems this game has to offer in one video. So, hey, that's what the comment section is for. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.